Okay, this video is going to show you how you can start joining some of these letters together so they're a little easier to maneuver. One thing I did mention, before you start moving these individual letters over, you just want to make sure that you want to set it up where it links the height and the width together, so when it does move, it moves in proportion. It doesn't change the size, it keeps the proportion. And then once you move it, you commit to it. So as you begin to move these letters around, these layers, you're going to be deciding on how you want these laid out. For example, do you want them all kind of crooked? Do you want them, in very, very different sizes, like the T is huge with the H? And it's really just going to be all a matter of taste. So I kind of like when they're kind of rotated around like that. I think it looks kind of interesting. I don't want them to be too much bigger or smaller than one another. And I do like the overlapping. So one thing you could do is that you can change the order. You can see the T is behind it, then the H, then the E. You could change the order by just moving these layers up and down. So I'm moving this one up higher so you can see now it's on top of the H and the E. So once you kind of organize these letters the way that you want them to be in the word, you want to join these together so they move around in one unit. So you want to know which ones these letters are. That's my T, that's my E, and that's my H. So it's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hold down the command button, and it allows me to select all of them. I right-click, merge layers. So now this can move around in one unit. I can make the whole thing bigger and smaller. I could even still rotate it if I wanted to, but this gives me a little bit more freedom. So once again, do it over here. I'm going to zoom in and see what I'm doing a little bit. Whoops. So this is going to spell artist. So there's the A. There's the R. Yeah, sometimes when you bring this little guy back here, you want to kind of keep that into place. That's going to change the rotation. So when you do bring these over, just try to avoid grabbing that little button in the middle. If it does, you can explore what that thing does. So I'm keeping in mind this arrangement. I'm kind of keeping it the same as the other letter that I had. The other words that I had, rather. I do like the way that they're kind of leaning into each other. They're not totally straight. Like I said, this is a matter of taste. It's a matter of whatever you feel you want it to look like. So once they're together like this, you could decide on which letters. Maybe you want something to be in front of something else. This got to be in front. Once you like them, you can join them together by holding down the command button and selecting them. You might have noticed that I selected the top one and the bottom one, and instead of holding down the command button and clicking them all, if you hold down the shift button, you have a whole line up here. You select the top one, hold down the shift, select the last one. It does the same thing. Right click, merge layers. So you can see it's going to make life a lot easier to move around. So as you're working, these things, it'll be much, much easier to move around each individual word rather than the little tiny letters you have. Okay? So see you in a bit.